Welcome everybody to the multi-class GT3 and GT4 race on Nurburgring. We are live from qualifying right now. And it is the GT4 class first that are going to be doing their times. And so far in the practice session that was running before this, we saw some pretty good lap times set by Heo Horman. If I can possibly try and get a look at him. Yes, there he is. Just about to finish his lap time in one of the stronger cars on the grid, the Alpine. As he's just coming towards the final straight, towards the chicane. We'll see what he's able to do. As the quickest lap time so far not being shown, because it's been mainly just the outlaps. As Heo Horman is going to come across the line now, and what is it going to be? Well, before that, it's going to be John Gibson 208.2, Eric Giselle 204.1, Heo Horman 204.595. So quite close. Linus Dellenbach 206.4. Then Benjamin Badolf 207.5. Great lap time by him. Hendrik has set an invalid lap time. Now it's valid, 207.3. Alexei Malachov 206.5. Wilson Fernandez 206.3. And Richard Fosek 206.1. Florian Angels 208.284 and 208.280. Only 0.04 of a second slower than John Gibson. Pretty close. Very close. And the GT4s, they are quite a different breed, I like to say. Probably some of the best modeled cars in the game in terms of handling and their physics. And, well, as you can see and hear, they sound very much different to the GT4s, though. Absolutely love driving them. Charlie Kent at 204.8, that brings him up to third place. Eric Giselle. Looks like he made a mistake, and he has gone worse on that lap. John Gibson, he is going 1.8 seconds quicker, and he's kind of come across the line now from 11th all the way up into 6th place to 206.4. And Heo Horman sets the best lap time of a 204.125, ahead of Eric Giselle for pole position in the GT4 class. Charlie Kent also moving up to 204.83, and Richard Forsek also 206.1, as he's going to come across the line now. And is it going to be an improvement? Is it going to be enough in order to get him ahead of Charlie Kent possibly here? He needs about 1.3 seconds. It is an improvement, but it's not enough to get him ahead of Charlie Kent. In the background, who is yet to do their laps? And who is improving? Maybe we can even go on board with one of these people. Let's go helmet camera. As you can see, it's a pretty modest interior of the Alpine GT4 car. The wheel looking very, very strange, with the dashboard actually inbuilt into it instead of how most of the GT3s are made, with the dashboard instead of all the gauges and everything. This one is inbuilt straight into the wheel. Makes it a bit harder to see if you're steering, but that's fine. Not many people are going to be looking at the the dash anyway inside the car. At least when you're sim racing. If you are actually racing, then it might be pretty difficult. But Richard Forsyth, by the way, going 6/10ths quicker this lap. In front of him, Artem Lipkovich is going 2/10ths quicker, or 1/10th quicker now. It's not going to be enough to get him ahead of Eric Giselle, but it is going to be enough to improve on his time of a 2:04.650. He's 5/10ths off Eric Giselle's time. Behind him, Linus Dellenbach up into 5th place. And also we've got Alexei Malachov going 9/10ths quicker than his 2:06.5. This might put him up into the 2:05 times, and it will, a 2:05.63. That brings him up to 5th place. Richard Forsyth going up into 5th place, as well, that is it. Behind them, Mohammed Bintang going 9/10ths quicker as Oliver Jundas. That's his personal best of a 2:06.335, up into 9th place in the GT4s. But here comes Mohammed Bintang, 9/10ths up, a second up now. This will put him into the 2:06.5 from 15th all the way up into 11th place, ahead of Hendrik von der Heijden with a 2:06.5. And he seems pretty happy with that. As we can now get all the GT3s to go on their laps. So that is it for most of them. Heo Horman, he's going to be finishing his lap time soon. He is improving, but is it going to be enough? Well, he's ahead of Eric Giselle, that's for sure, but anybody behind him, might they be able to improve enough? Oh, Heo Horman having a big step out, and he's done with his qualifying. Artem Lipkovich, he is 3/10ths up, 2/10ths up. I don't think this is going to be enough to get him ahead of Eric Giselle, but it's a pretty good time anyway. It's a 2:04.435, and he has to go back to the pits now. Benjamin Badal, he's going 5/10ths quicker. As he's going to come across the line now. I don't think this will be enough to get him up into the 2:06s, but it's going to be enough to get him ahead of Florian Engels, who is himself improving. But here comes Hendrik von der Heijden, 8/10ths up and up into 9th place. Behind them, Florian Engels going 6/10ths quicker. This is his final lap time as he's going to come across the line now. And what is it going to be? It's going to be enough to get him ahead of Audi de Veranga and Benjamin Badalf. And back to the pits. So, now it's time for the GT3 times. Well, there we go. Heo Horman takes pole position for the GT4s, with Eric Giselle taking 2nd and Artem Lipkovich in 3rd. That is your top 3 for the GT4s. But now, let's focus our eyes on the GT3 qualifying session. Here is the man that will most likely take pole position. Abe Santoma in the McLaren 720S Evo. Now, he's already started his lap time. Who was the first person to start their lap time? Well, I think it was actually him. We can go on board with him. Let's actually take a nice dashboard. As you can see, he's just maximizing every single part of the track, you know, getting within the lines and not out of them. He is just trying to complete the perfect lap time to secure pole position for this race, as he's just powering through. You can see the confidence he has with driving this car. He's going to come across the line now. And what is it going to be? His first lap time of this qualifying session, a 54.0, and he should be pretty happy with that. Behind him, we've got Steve Stevenson, who does not set a valid lap time. No, he does actually. He sets a 54.2, but Renato Dornelles, 53.945. That is a quicker lap time than Abe Santama. And Declan Bowler sets a 56.5. Dayton Johns sets a 57. As Alexander Goltsov sets a 56. Jonathan Weinberg 56.5 as well. Lunatic Braga sets a invalid lap time. As Christian Baum sets a 58.5. Modest 58.5. Anton Vinogradov comes across the line to set an invalid lap time. Zach Summerall 55.7. That puts him up into 4th place. I have no idea how to set my fuel for a multi-class. Well, to be fair, there's not going to be too much going on in terms of fuel. I don't think it will matter, since you guys don't really drink that much. As Derek Brigg comes across the line, that was an invalid lap time for him. And that is all of the first lap times so far. Abe Santama, is he improving on his lap time? Well, currently it does not seem like he is. He's only got purple 3rd sector. The rest are, well, they're owned by Renato Dornelles, who's still improving on his lap time, 3/10 up. What has Abe Santama got to show for this, as he is not improving and actually going worse that time out? He's had a pretty poor exit out of that corner, and he's going to come across the line. It's not going to be an improvement. Behind him, though, it's going to be a massive improvement of half a second for Renato Dornelles. It's at a 53.415. We're going to get lapped like 2 to 3 times. I think so. There might be. You might get lapped 2 to 3 times. Maybe more. Who knows? Mario Bonetti does not improve. Alexander Goltsov does improve to a 56.2. And then Jonathan Weinberg also does improve. Lunatic Braga up into 4th place with a 55.3. Alexander Borgeos also up into 5th place with a 55.522. Zach Summerall, that was his best lap time last time out. He's improving, and he keeps 6th place, but just barely behind Alexander Borges. Dalton Johns sets a 56.1. Alexander Goltsov, we already saw him set the 56.2 time. What does Steve Stevenson have to show? He had a pretty poor lap last time out, a 54.7. He's 4/10 up on his 54.2, which might put him ahead of Abe Santama, who's currently doing an outlap, it looks like. Disqualifying? Oh no. Did a GT4 come out of the pits? That's the only way that somebody would get disqualified. That's weird, it wasn't a GT4. I think they might have disqualified themselves. Unless somebody said something in chat. Yeah. Steve Stevenson comes across the line, and it is enough for an improvement to get ahead of Abe Santama, 53.7. He's going to be pretty happy with that lap time. Pavel Moreyev going 9/10 quicker than his 57.7 from 12th to 11th. That's a very good lap time indeed. We've got Nicola, who does improve as well, up into 12th place. Behind him, Marino Bonetti up into 7th place with a 55.7. Dalton Johns also not improving on his lap time, though it did say he was. As the final 1 minute ticks down. Declan Bowler improving on his lap time. Abe Santama into the pits. He's not going to have enough time to get out there. And I think that's his qualifying over. So is Steve Stevenson qualifying. Declan Bowler 2/10 up. Dalton Johns 3/10 up. Alexander Goltsov 2/10 up. Jonathan Weinberg 4/10 up. Everybody's actually improving. The track seemingly getting better and better. As Dalton Johns is actually 5/10 up. This will put him as a 55.6 ahead of Marino Bonetti, who's in the pits. That is his qualifying over as well. But we can go to Pavel Moraev, who is currently going to be the first person to finish their qualifying. Unless you are car number 3. Car number 3 is Renato Dornelles, who did not improve. Pavel Moraev making a big mistake. That's an invalid lap time for him now. And that is his qualifying over. Behind him, he's got Alexander Borges, who's not improving on his lap time. But he is still going to finish his lap time. Still going to try his absolute best and push to the limits here. Actually, he does improve through the final chicane as Pavel Moraev lets him by pretty nicely there through the final corner now. Here comes Alexander Borges. Is it going to be enough to get him ahead of Lunatic Braga? Unfortunately for him, it's not going to be enough as Pavel Moraev also crosses the line. And Declan Bowler is going to come across the line. He's up from 11th to 11th by only a slim margin. He missed out on 10th place. Jonathan Weinberg up into 5th place. And Renato Dornelles might actually be able to set another quick lap time. Zach Summerall making a big mistake. He was 6/10 up coming through the final corner. And sadly now into the pits. That would have been a 54. It would have put him ahead of Lunatic Braga. Pavel Moraev invalidating his lap time. Everybody else also not able to do theirs. No, there we go. I was just about to say, Timo Gerving up into 4th place with a 54.4. And the final person who's going to be crossing the line to finish their lap times is going to be Renato Dornelles, who's just trying to... I'm not sure. Is he just trying to prove a point? Is there a possibility of him getting an even better lap time than that 53.4? Well, we're about to see, as we can actually do a small little on board with him. See what's the secret behind getting a 53 or a 54 and a 55 and all the rest of the lap time. As he comes through the chicane. Oh, he makes the same mistake he did last time, I think. That's going to be his qualifying over, and he's going to have to come across the line now. I hope he comes across the line, because then qualifying will be over. And he does. And actually, hold on. Alexander Borges is the last person to cross the line, up into 5th place. That is a good improvement for him. That is your grid for today. It is pole position for Renato Dornelles with a 53.4, and Steve Stevenson will be starting alongside him. We've seen him in VGTR season 8 or 7, so we know what he's capable of doing. Heyo Horman takes a pretty dominant, a nearly dominant pole position ahead of Eric Giselle. Actually, no, it's not too dominant. It's only 3/10 apart. 300ths apart between these two. They're both driving in the same car. Well, it looks like most people are going to be driving in the same car if you're in the top 5. Except if your name is Charlie Kent or Wilson Fernandez or... yeah, that's it. In the top 5, there's only 2 different GT4s. That is the Ginetta GT5. Well, GT4. For Charlie Kent and Wilson Fernandez in the Mercedes AMG GT4. And Richard Forsek continuing the Alpine trend. Well, if you've got any predictions for what might happen during this race, then do let us know. I've got my predictions. A GT3 will ruin a GT4's race, and vice versa. There is definitely going to be some interesting, let's just call it that, interesting overtakes by certain GT3s, and certain GT4s, yeah, certain GT4s will be blocking GT3s, so we'll see. I predict death. Well, it's a pretty easy thing to say, I think. But let's still go over the starting grid. Renato Dornelles, pole position in this race. Alongside him is Steve Stevenson in the Porsche. Then, behind them, Abe Santama in third. In the McLaren 720S Evo. Alongside him, Timo Gerving, who set a pretty good last lap, putting himself up into 4th place. Alexander Borges starting in 5th. Then behind them, alongside him, is Lunatic Braga. Behind them, Jonathan Weinberg in 7th place. Then Zach Summerall alongside him in the Ferrari 296. Then Marino Bonetti starting in 9th place. Behind him, or alongside him, is Alexander Goltsev, the number 200 Ferrari 296. Then Dalton John starting behind them in 11th place. Alongside him, though, is Declan Bowler. Then Pavel Morev in 13th place. Nikola Musibabic starting in 14th. Thomas Hager starting in 15th place. And alongside him, Nikolai Tsiabuk. Behind them, in the final row of the GT3s, is Christian Baum and Dirk Brigg in the Mercedes. Now, we move on to the GT4s, where Heo Horman took pole position in the Alpine. And then Eric Giselle starting alongside him, also in the Alpine GT4. Artem Lipchevik. No, we'll say it like that. Starting in third, alongside him, Charlie Kent in the Ginetta GT4 car. And then Wilson Fernandez in the Mercedes GT4. Alongside him is Richard Forsek. Behind them, Alexei Malahov in the Mercedes as well. And next to him, it's a lockout. It's a row lockout for the Mercedes. Linus Dellenbach starting in 26th. Then Hendrik von der Heijden starting in 27th, also in the Ginetta. Alongside him is Oliver Jundus in the Mercedes. Then John Gibson starting in 29th. Or in, what's that? 10th place, actually, 10th place for him. And alongside him is Mohamed Bintang. Timon Karsten starting in 31st. Alongside him is going to be Florian Angels, and it's another lockout for the Mercedes. Audi Deva Nugruha starting in 33rd. He's starting in the only GT4 BMW car. Alongside him is Benjamin Badalf, then Brandon Mansell and David Bliss. Mike Hansen is the final person in the GT4s to be starting this race. And behind him, he's got 2 GT3s. I'm not sure what they're trying to do, but okay, we'll see. Now repeat that name fast 3 times. Yeah, no thanks. I predict Badalf beat Gibson. Ooh. Wow, okay. John Gibson and Benjamin Badalf battle is going to be quite one to look at. John Gibson starting in 29th, in 10th place, and Benjamin Badalf starting in 15th. So we'll see who comes out on top. No punterino, Jimmer. Well, exactly. As long as there is no puntering, there's no hitting each other, everything will be A-okay. Right, well, it's about time we start the formation lap. And Renato Dornelles is going to lead the way. Take the lead and lead the way. It's going to be a 45-minute race as Alexander Goltsev forgot to press drive and now in the pits. Well, it's a pretty long circuit. The fastest lap time here, set by Renato Dornelles in this session, is a 53.4. A 45-minute race, so we'll see. We'll see how all of it turns out. As there is actually a storm brewing outside my house. It is nice and dry in Nurburgring for this race. There will not be any weather changes. It's a nice hot 31-degree track temperature. And this will be, well, this will be a lot of carnage. And I'm not sure how we'll be able to capture both the GT3 and the GT4 star. I think we'll have it on Renato Dornelles at in the first corner, and then as soon as he exits the first corner, we'll go straight to Heo Horman to try and catch him. But okay, as we head through the final sector now. Abe Santoma has actually got quite a lot of pressure on his shoulders in order to, you know, get back at what he lost in the qualifying session. He was only able to do a 54 time compared to his competitors, Renato Dornelles and Steve Stevenson, who were able to actually squeeze out a 53. Predict there will be death on turn 3. Specific, but I like it. Well, if that does happen, then I will do nothing. But I'll say congratulations. There's 2 people in the pits, by the way, now. Pavel Moraes he joins Alexander Goltsov in the pits. Both GT3s. They'll be expecting some carnage, it looks like. Deal. Great. Well, now, lining alongside each other. Will the GT4s leave some space? Well, we'll just wait and see. But Steve Stevenson weaving, trying to get as much heat into his tires as they're coming across the final corner now. It's a very long run towards the first corner here. And Renato Dornelles will be waiting for the green flags to be waved and for the multi-class sprint at Nurburgring to begin. Renato Dornelles leading the way quite strongly here. Behind them, Timo Gerving trying to challenge Abe Santoma for 3rd place here. As they're going to be heading into the first corner. Well, what's going to happen here? Looks like the top 5. Ooh, the Lamborghini with Timo Gerving colliding. Heo Horman, he's able to just about get through. He's actually ahead of Dirk Brigg for a while here. Here is turn 3, so we'll see if Shireko was correct. And is there carnage in turn 3? I saw somebody spinning around. There is Anton Vinogradov, who has made up quite a lot of positions at the start. He's just trying to push along all the GT4s. And, oh no, this is not going to be great in the first lap at all. What is going on here? A GT3 is trying to battle with, looks like, Mohammed Bintang and Wilson Fernandez, it might be, and Brandon Mansell, as Denis Stelnikov is just, well, nearly forced Timon Karstens off the track, and now he's going to try and get past Hendrik van der Heijden. We need to probably cut to the front as Steve Stevenson and Abe Santoma were trading positions. Back to the front of the GT4s as Artem Lipkevich is trying to get past Linus Dellenbach, and now Christian Baum is going to get past round the outside of him. He had a pretty horrible start. He's down in 19th behind 4 other GT4s. And Artem Lipkovic is getting pressured by Alexei Malahov down the inside into the chicane. Is he going to be able to brake later? No, he's not. He's got Anton Vinogradov. He's trying to get around the outside. He's bouncing all over the chicane, trying to get past. And that surely did slow him down. It's Declan Bowler now alongside Alexander Burgess and down the inside into the first corner. Is he going to be able to hold on to this position? I'm not sure if he will as they make contact. Alexander Burgess and Declan Bowler making contact, and I'm not sure who's at fault. Definitely looked like Alexandre just decided to open up his steering and pretty much let go and drive into the side of Declan Bowler, though I'm not sure if that did happen. Eric Giselle now fighting with Christian Baum and Nikola Musibabic. And Anton Vinogradov also going alongside him now as well. Well, this is not much of a challenge at all. As Charlie Kent getting closer to the back of Heo Horman. And Nikola Musibabic is going to be disrupting this battle. That's for sure. It's down the inside. Into what looks like Dunlop curve. Behind them, Anton Vinogradov getting past Christian Baum for 17th place. Denis Strelnikov down in 19th, trying to get past Christian Baum as well. And Charlie Kent is just in the middle of all of this. Hey, O'Horman, he got punted by a GT3, and he's out of the lead of the race. And Charlie Kent is going to take the lead, but not in the way that he thought. I wasn't wrong yet, didn't specify which lap. True. Oh, and that is a horrible way for Heo Horman to lose out on the race lead. And he's now going to be in the pits. Timon Carson's fighting with Alexander Goltsev. They're not for long. Alexander Goltsev is in the GT3. And now he's trying to get behind Pavel Moraev as they've got Hendrik von der Heijden in front of them. Hendrik von der Heijden looking like he's pretty much letting them go, which is the right thing to do when you're in a GT3, GT4 battle. And Alexander Goltsev closing that gap. Back to the front. Pavel Moraev getting closer to the back of Wilson Fernandez. And he is now past him. For how long? That was weird. Eric Giselle he's got passed by Lunatic Braga, who's now going to try and get past Charlie Kent. And now Eric Giselle is going to be hoping that Charlie Kent gets punted by this GT3. Looks like that isn't going to happen though. Artem Lipkovic is fighting to get past Linus Dellenbach. Remember, Artem Lipkovic started in 21st place. He started in 3rd in the GT4s. Now he's trying to reclaim that position from Linus Dellenbach in the Mercedes as they come through the Schumacher S's. And now he is looking to the inside. He's got Pavel Moraev though, and Alexander Goltsev trying to get past them. Look at this. As Artem Lipkovic is just trying to get past Linus Dellenbach. This actually is helping him though. They slowed him down for him. And now he's going to be in the slipstream all the way down towards the chicane. And who's going to be braking later? Who's going to have the better brakes? Who's going to be more brave? But I don't think it's a good idea to try and overtake into the chicane. The only thing you can really do is pressure the other person to make a mistake, which Linus did kind of do. But as this battle is going on, so is Eric Giselle trying to fight for P1 with Charlie Kent. And now rounding outside, he's got Alexander Goltsev compromising his exit out of the first corner. Though Charlie Kent's still able to get ahead and keep the first place. That was a scary moment for Charlie Kent, nearly losing first place due to some GT3 battle. Hello, Kava. Hello. There's Eric Giselle. Still closing the gap. Same as Artem Lipkovic, closing the gap on Linus Dellenbach. And so is Oliver Jundas on Hendrik von der Heijden. And Anton Vinogradov on Thomas Heijden. There's so many things happening right now on the track. The Alpines are gorgeous. They are. They also sound like really weird. Let's just put it that way. Really weird. They sound like little RC cars. And here is Eric Giselle. Not getting close yet. As behind them, Artem Lipkovic actually making a move on Linus Dellenbach. I think they're still going side by side into the next corner. And he's going to try and reclaim this position. Now Artem Lipkovic is on the inside. And it looks like he took that position away, though with a bit of door banging. Still, Artem Lipkovic up into third place. Good stuff by him. Thomas Heijden, yellow flag as he was fighting with Denis Strelnikov. And to the front as well, there's Dalton Johnson, Jonathan Weinberg trying to make moves on each other. This is I'd say a four-way battle for 7th place with Alexander Borges. We'll cut back to that one soon. There's Christian Baum and Lunatic Braga trading positions. This is for 17th place. There's Dalton John's yellow flags. And it looks like it might be a big one because now he's falling down the grid. And Christian Baum up into 17th place. Lunatic Braga not liking that one bit. He is still close to the back. As John Gibson is about to make a move on Mike Hansen down the inside into the first corner. Sadly, it won't happen this time out. He's got a ton of damage on that Alpine. I wonder what's happened in the first lap. But he's still trying to make moves. And he's trying to do an old switcheroo on Mike Hansen here. Mike Hansen gets in the worst exit. John Gibson gets in the better exit. Now, around the outside of the next corner. Mike Hansen seemingly giving up the position. And John Gibson back into 35th place. As Dalton Jones continues. What is he doing in the middle of the track? Rejoins in an interesting manner. But nevertheless, it is A-OK. Lunatic Braga now trying to get past Nikola Musibabic as he got past Christian Baum eventually for 16th place. Now his next target is 15th. Declan Bowler also in a bit of a battle with Jonathan Weinberg. They're 4/10 away from each other. Jonathan Weinberg, currently last lap, was slower than Declan Bowler by a whole second. As now look at Lunatic Braga side by side with Nikola Musibabic and gets in the better exit out of that corner, switching it to the inside, and is he going to make the move down into the next corner? And it looks like Nikola Musibabic going very wide but making it stick. As now he's got the inside and able to keep that next corner and keep his battle alive. Oh, Jesus. It's big thunderstorms outside as Lunatic Braga gets past Nikola Musibabic. Nikola Musibabic seemingly making a big mistake. Now to the front, to the back of the grid. Alexander Goltsov still in a battle of Pavel Moraev, and so is Oliver Jundis with Hendrik von der Heijden. He was looking to make a move there, not able to execute it though. I think you might be able to actually hear that thunderstorm happening outside my house. As what's happened to Charlie Kent? Yellow flags. And to me, it just looked like he was standing still. Well, now, Eric Giselle has taken the lead ahead of Artem Lipkovich. And also, well, obviously, not Eric Giselle. Charlie Kent, who looks like he had an internet connection issue because he was just floating in midair. Interesting. Declan Bowler, up in 9th place. Hoping to get 8th. Charlie's had some weird connections with his Fanatec sim rig. Oh no. Oh, that is awful. It's going to be quite a nice battle. But nevertheless, the show goes on. Declan Bowler. Charlie Kent here, hardware issues. God damn it. I hate, like, that's the worst thing that can happen in a race. Actually, I think the more worst thing that can happen is if you have a hardware issue and then you crash into somebody. Fanatec doesn't know how to design a proper clamp for the wheelbases. Oh no! It fell off. Quite literally. Oh no. And Abe could design something better. Oh jeez. Well, Declan Bowler following closely behind Jonathan Weinberg, as he has been for the last couple of laps. He's been lapping consistently quicker than him every single lap. And down the inside he goes now. That was a very opportunistic move, but is he going to be able to make it stick? No, he won't. Jonathan Weinberg still on the inside, and he's going to be able to keep the battle alive. So close. The screw that holds the clamp on is as tight as it can physically get and still gets loose as Declan Bowler was looking on the inside of Jonathan Weinberg and possibly just trying to put the pressure on and maybe force him to make a mistake. And Mario Bonetti is now behind Alexander Borges, but for how long? Because they're still side by side heading through the first couple of corners. Mario Bonetti in front of Alexander Borges, but Alexander Borges keeping it side by side. That's very, very good stuff. Just needed to be sure that I'm actually pressing drive. It's Mario Bonetti able to stay ahead of Alexander Borges. Very good stuff. Towards the back, David Blith is trying to get past Mohammed Bintang. And he does, nearly, into the Schumacher S's. That would have been one hell of an overtake. As they've got a GT3 of Nurburgring getting past them now. And more GT3s following suit, as there is another GT3 on the 296 of Zach Summerall. And this might get pretty tricky. Because, by the way, did I just notice, but the Mercedes has some weird light pole thing on top of it. What is this? This is so hilarious. It's even worse than the Ferrari 296 pole. It's... Oh, Jesus. Who thought of this idea? Which person was like, let's put aux lights on the antenna of a GT4 car. Interesting. Nikola Musibabic trying to get past Thomas Hayes. Yes, he does. Down the inside. Thomas Hayes making a big mistake. And now Alexander Goltsov will also be trying to get past him, as he's going to have a better exit out of the final corner. And he's going to be going side by side, as they've got a GT4 in their way as well. Side by side towards the next corner. And I think Alexander Goltsov will definitely be trying to go for an overtake here. Down the inside. And is it going to be able to make it stick? Not sure, but I do need to close the windows. Okay, that's the windows closed, but they're drenched from the inside now. Not good. Declan Bowler continuing the battle. It is heavy downpour outside. Not in the game though. In the game it's nice and sunny. Declan Bowler making a mistake. That has brought the gap a bit more open. And ooh, that was a definite mistake. There is behind them. I think that's Anton Vinogradov just lapping a GT4. Could have been Denis Strelnikov. As now they still have to get past a couple more GT4s. As in the background we've got Audi, Devanarunga and fighting with Florian Angels. And down the inside Audi goes in the BMW. But hold on. Florian nearly making the switch back on him. Benjamin Badalf now getting passed by David Blith. He's made a big mistake. And does he have a puncture? Because he was going very wide. Well, who knows? Steve Stevenson. He's catching the back of Renato Dornelles. Renato Dornelles. Well, he's got a lot of traffic in front of him, which he seems to be always catching at the wrong time. And last lap, he was going a whole tenth, nearly 2/10 slower than Steve Stevenson, as it looks like this screw is now as tight as I can humanly get. Let's see what happens. Well, Charlie Kent, would love to see you back out on the track, so see what you're able to do. As there goes Steve Stevenson. He's just trying to force his way around Eric Giselle, as Eric Giselle pretty comfortably leading in the GT4 class. Declan Bowler getting so close to the back of Jonathan Weinberg, but he just had that GT4 right in his way, and that's just unfortunate for him. Nothing the GT4 could have done. And that has brought their gap out again. Steve Stevenson was 5/10 away from the back of Keep on saying his name wrong. Renato Dornelles. Well, extending that gap. And then getting back at him. Looks like Renato Dornelles is definitely quicker in the final sector. Steve Stevenson able to catch on in the first sector. So who knows? Who knows how this is going to go? I think we are at more or less the halfway point now, as Anton Vinogradov has actually caught in this battle for 8th place with Declan Bowler and Jonathan Weinberg, as more GT4s get in their way. And this is exactly why this is more fun to do in multi-class, because, well, somebody can get lucky, somebody can get unlucky, and currently Jonathan Weinberg has to be the one paving the way and letting the GT4s know to get out of his way, as he's got 2 hungry people in front of him. And look at the unlucky GT4 just seeing the state of what is going on, and oh, contact! I think both of them misjudged how they were gonna go, or where they were gonna go, and that's Timon Karstens now in the wall and just waiting until he can reverse, because he's stuck in a very bad location. Yep, there we go. That is the proper way to do that. As Pavel Moraev and Dalton Johns now going side by side. And Dalton Johns still ahead. Pavel Moraev will have to try and challenge into the next chicane. Definitely not a place where you want to be challenging, but nevertheless, if you can do it cleanly, then all respect to you. But Pavel Moraev losing a lot of time through the chicane, and now not going to have a good run on Dalton Johns as he even hits the gravel. Declan Bowler losing out a bit of time on Jonathan Weinberg, but so did Anton Vinogradov. Again, number 25, so there we go. Apparently it's not the first time that the 25 has apparently collided with a GT4. Whoa, that was a big one. You guys should have heard that. Thunder strike, for sure. Not gonna lie, I love thunderstorms. If there's any feature I'd like to see in Rensport or AC2, if any developers ever watch this live stream, which I'm not sure you ever will, add more than just rain, more than just heavy rain, add like big thunderstorms and snow and all possible conditions, you know, have droughts, like huge droughts, where it's so dry that tires just burst, or make conditions dusty, etc, etc. So many things I'd love to see in future games. Kind of do it like Project Cars 2. They've got hail, they've got sleet, they've got snow, got all the good stuff. As Anton Vinogradov still getting closer to the back of Declan Bowler, and losing out a bit of time on him, as he had to get past another GT4 of, I think, Wilson Fernandez, the 999. And Anton Vinogradov is getting very, very impatient indeed. Trying to get past as quick as possible. They've got another set of GT4s to clear ahead of Jonathan Weinberg. And the number... Well, who was that then? That's the number 56 of Linus Dellenbach. Ooh, very close. With Jonathan Weinberg. Very, very close. As now, this is gonna pack the bunch together, bunch the pack up. Again, Declan Bauer, Anton Vinogradov, and Jonathan Weinberg yet again very, very close to each other. And yet again, it is because of the GT4s, which I love. I love that the GT4s are closing up these battles and making it much, much more fun for us to watch. And is Anton Vinogradov gonna possibly go for a move on the inside? That is a very opportunistic move, but it is gonna probably stick as Declan Bauer has to give way, but he's gonna try and go to the outside, get a better exit through the first sector. That is the thunderstorm. I don't think I'll ever stop talking about the thunderstorm outside until it stops, or until this race stops. Whichever one stops first. Lunatic Braga trying to get past Nikolai Tsiabuk. And still Denis Strelnikov now trying to get past Dennis Bowler. Declan Bowler, not Dennis Bowler. It's Denis Strelnikov and Declan Bowler. Both starts with D's, but different names. Definitely different names. So you can have a look. Steve Stevenson still battling for first with Renato Dornelles. He is going, well, he was going 2/10 quicker per lap that last time out, and he's still going a 10th quicker that last lap. So in the last 16 minutes, anything can happen. Well ripped, there's Benjamin Bedell. Oh no, he's in the pits. What happened? Lag spikes. Oh no. I hope it's not server-side lag spikes. It definitely didn't. It looks fine for now. Denis Strelnikov trying to get past Declan Bowler around the outside. Ooh, nearly making contact. That was very close and very good racing. Have to give it to these two. Yeah, there was a bit of contact. I know, game. But it was not enough to be counted as dirty or any close to that. As Jonathan Weinberg now, wow. There goes Anton Vinogradov. Past him. Car proxy. Oof. Not good. Steve Stevenson, he was going alongside Renato Dornelles through the third sector. As now, I think he is definitely wanting to get past as quick as possible. And it's also good news for Abe, who's now got about 7 laps, I'd say. Maybe 5 to 6 laps to go. And if these two keep on slowing each other down, like they did just then... can you send clouds and lightning here, TY? Well, wish I could, but it was really cool. I didn't see any lightning strike. I just saw, you know, a big white puff of like as if somebody shot a camera. But look at these guys, by the way. Denis Strelnikov, Declan Bauer, Marino Bonetti, and Jonathan Weinberg all fighting for 8th places. Ooh, Denis Strelnikov getting very, very wiggly out of the final corner. Now Declan Bauer is falling a bit behind Marino Bonetti, who's trying to get past Jonathan Weinberg. back to the front with Steve Stevens, who looks like he gained a lot of time on Renato Dornelles, who had to get past the GT4. I guess I go get washing in. What? Oh yeah, wait, if it's raining outside for you too, go get your washing in. Indeed. I was confused at first, but now I'm not. Zach Summerall getting closer to the back of Timo Gerving, and this is the recurring matter right now. A GT4 might ruin an exit for another car, and it might give the position to Zach Summerall here, as he is just flashing, probably letting him know that he's not going to be making the move, but he's just looking for the braking marker, which is a very nice thing to do. As you saw, that was very, very close. And flashing the Porsche. Declan Bauer now. Finally behind Dennis Trelnikov. Which is not what he wanted, that's for sure, but it looks like the tires on his car are starting to fall off way more, as now they have to be lapping the GT4 of John Gibson. And oh, Dennis Strelnikov is not going to like this one bit, but John Gibson pulling off to the side, letting all of them go. With that much damage, I don't think he's got too much to lose. No drive-throughs yet for anybody. I would not expect anybody to get them. But if there was, that'd be pretty weird. What's happened to Thomas Hayes though? Okay. Not bad, it looked like. Didn't lose out on too many positions. Doesn't look like too much damage on his car either. It's Dennis Strelnikov having to go get by the GT4, the Alpine GT4. Okay, the thunderstorm is not moving. Thunderstorm is not moving away. It's actually getting closer. I actually felt it through my butt cheeks. That thunderstorm, it's not getting worse. Alright. Dennis Strelnikov now trying to get past Jonathan Weinberg, as it looks like Marino Bonetti also getting past all of them. Zach Summerall and Timo Gerving coming together, but Zach Summerall getting ahead of him. And so did Dennis Strelnikov getting ahead of Jonathan Weinberg. But thunder, yeah. It sounded as if something just fell. Probably did. Dennis Strelnikov now heading alongside Marino Bonetti and trying to get 8th place away from him, as he's now going to be on the outside of the first corner. Oh, what was that? I'm not sure that was game contact, because Marino Bonetti just kind of teleported to inside his car. Let's just say that. Steve Stevenson now alongside Renato Dornelles, the final 9 minutes to go, and still not able to make the overtake stick. Very, very close. The leaders. Any possible interruption between these two, like maybe the GT4 of Charlie Kent, might compromise one other driver, as here is Wilson Fernandez also in front of Renato Dornelles, and Steve Stevenson also praying that they all get out of his way, and they do. And Steve Stevenson, he is just trying to fly along. Last lap, 2/10 quicker. As you can head more or less to the back, Marino Bonetti fighting with Jonathan Weinberg and Declan Bowler. As Declan Bowler now up into 9th place yet again. Is there any battle going on in the GT4s? Sadly, I'm not sure there is. Except for Florian Angels trying to get past Audi, Devon Arugara, but also not able to do that. Lunatic Braga closing the gap to Nikolai Tsiabuk. And now heading side by side as they're going to be going into the chicane. And who is going to back out of this move? Well, I doubt it'll be any of them, as they're going to try and maneuver around. And you know what? Good stuff. Good stuff by both of them as Lunatic Braga goes down the inside and... Jesus. Making me worried. Making me very, very worried. As you can cut back to the front. More lightning. And more thunder. 3, 2. I think my noise cancellation is actually working. Anyway. Steve Stevenson making a bit of a mistake. And losing a bit of time to Renato Dornales. Here is Timo Gerving now. Also trying to get past Zach Summerall, who got past him a couple of laps ago. And, oh, nice. If you know weather zones, like the different colors that they mean. Currently we're in the red zone. So, send prayers. My house might get burnt down. Lunatic Braga having to maneuver around the Audi GT4 and also trying to get past Nikolai Tsiabuk as Denis Strelnikov coming into the pits. Not sure why. Here comes Lunatic Braga though, still, same time, alongside Nikolai Tsiabuk, and this time ahead, maybe into the chicane, and yes he does, that was a great overtake. You have to say, that was the best overtake we've seen so far, I think. To be able to stick it in there and absolutely be brave to stay on the gas and not make contact, that was good. It's now back to the front. We've still got Steve Stevenson and Renato Dornelles. These guys have been going at it since the 30-minute mark, I'd say. They've been going at it for 26 minutes. As now they've even come across a GT3 back marker of, I think, Christian Baum. That's number 77 BMW. Now this one's going to be harder to maneuver around, because you do not have the speed advantage. As, oh, what's happening here? Declan Bowler, Jonathan Weinberg, and Marino Benetti all coming together. As we might even miss the overtake for the lead. Oh no. Not great. Timo Gerving now closing the gap to Zach Summerall, and Zach Summerall had to maneuver around the Ginetta. As, look at this, there's also a battle for first place in the GT4's final 3 minutes to go. And Artem Lipkovich has been gaining 5/10 a lap. That's half a second per lap quicker on Eric Giselle per lap. And this might be, I think, 2 more laps, maybe 3 to go for the GT4s and the GT3s. It's Artem Lipkovic trying to maximize every single exit as Zach Summerall is getting close to the back of Thiemo Gerving and Nikolai Tsiabuk. Well, now he's behind Denis Strelnikov. But back to the front, Zach Summerall. My next GT4 event is at Kota. Ooh. Yeah, not the best track, I'd like to point out. Not the best track at all. Zach Summerall. He has got maximum of 2 laps left to go until this race is done. And oof, maybe making a mistake there, because he's lost quite a bunch of time to Thiemo Gerving. So did Steve Stevens at the back of Renato Dornelis. And I think they've got 1 more lap to go. Renato Dornelis is going to be starting the final lap of the race as Artem Lipkovic getting so close to the back of Eric Giselle, and he might be making a move here. So close. Only 5/10 away as Eric Giselle making a mistake, and all of these gravel dips are gonna be crucial for the GT4's. Eric Giselle parking it on the inside. Artem Lipkovic, can he brake later than Eric Giselle and try and make it round the outside of the chicane? I think he might be compromising himself here, but he might be making a better exit into the final corner. And this is gonna be one hell of a final lap for the lead of the GT4s. As now Eric Giselle moving to the inside. Artem Lipkovic forced to the outside of Eric Giselle into the first corner. John Gibson letting them go. And they are inseparable right now. But more to the front as Zach Summerall gets past Thiemo Gerving. But for how long? Thiemo Gerving still was trying to hang it round the outside, but now has to stay behind him. Anton Vinogradov also not able to do much to get past Alexandre Borges. But here is Artem Lipkovic, who's getting compromised by Abe Santama, who is not actually letting him go. Artem Lipkovic not letting Abe Santama through at all, but Eric Giselle did, and now Artem Lipkovic trying to go around the outside. What is going on here? Nearly weaving in front of him did Eric Giselle, and Artem Lipkovic having to go to the inside. 2/10 separate these two, as this is their final chance. Artem Lipkovic has got just a couple more corners to go. As Renato Dornelis is actually gonna probably take the lead. As Artem Lipkovic, 2/10, 1/10 to the outside. Is he gonna be able to make a move? This is the final move, and he got too desperate. Renato Dornelis, though, takes the win for the GT3s. Steve Stevenson in second and Abe Santama in third. Zach Summerall and Thiemo Gerving, for some reason, making contact. And now behind them, they've got the hungry Alexander Borges and Anton Vinogradov. But Eric Giselle also takes the win for the GT4s. Artem Lipkovic sadly cannot challenge them, but we still cut to the battle for fourth place with Zach Summerall and Thiemo Gerving and Alexander Borges and Anton Vinogradov, who's trying to go round the outside here to possibly make a move. and into the final corner. And this is exactly the order they're going to finish in, and it is a close finish. Indeed. In the background, we can just wait a little bit. I think we've got Wilson Fernandez, who just finished a race. Oliver Jundas in 23rd, which is 4th place for him. Great stuff. Wilson Fernandez in 3rd. Hendrik von der Heijden in 5th. And Audi Deva Nugraha in 6th. Florian Angels finishing in 7th. Brandon Mansell is going to be finishing in 8th place ahead of Mohammed Bintang and Timon Karstens. As he's slowly making it round. He's got all the time in the world, does Timon Karstens. Just a slow little in lap. He's going to come across the line now. Just a Sunday drive. And they finish the race. Well, that is your race for today. Renato Dornelles takes P1 ahead of Steve Stevenson, finishing in 2nd, only 2/10 behind the Lamborghini, then Abe Santama in 3rd. Eric Giselle finished in 1st place for the GT4s, then Artem Lipkovic had a pretty close battle with him. He finished 2nd, and Wilson Fernandez finishing in 3rd. They had no fuel? Could be definitely a reason. Well, that is all for today, and that is all for this week as well. Next week, we will be at Imola, though I am not sure about the live stream. I might have to get somebody else to do that since I am away. But fear not, for the 6 hours of Bathurst, I will be here, and that is also the finale for the Endurance Championship. Who will take the top 3 positions, and who will take the prize money home. Also, thank you to our 2 lovely Patreons, Tyler and Miguel Estezaran, and to our 3 wonderful sponsors, simracing, Next Level Racing, and Formula Setups. You can check them out in the description below. But that is all from us. If you did enjoy the live stream, be sure to like and subscribe, as we post every single week, nearly every single day. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. That's all. Bye-bye.